Hey, what's up guys? We've had an amazing few days of game reveals here at E3. We have seen staple games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Spider-Man, to awesome surprises like Resident Evil 2 Remake and Devil May Cry 5. But there was also a nice surprise for all of us specifically tied to a certain type of subject matter: the samurai and feudal Japan. I have not seen such a focus on this time period, setting, and type of narrative in a very long time, so it makes sense that it is poised for a comeback. This point brings me to my latest trailer analysis with the title Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This game was actually teased at the 2017 Game Awards, and everyone thought the trailer pointed towards Bloodborne 2. To begin with, this game was being published by Activision and developed by From Software of Demon and Dark Souls fame, even though my favorite series of theirs is Armored Core. When I first saw the trailer for the game, Tenchu Stealth Assassins immediately came to mind, as the aesthetic is similar and we have a grappling hook. It is also interesting to note that Activision was the company that published the Tenchu series here in the States. Anyways, unlike the realism that Sucker Punch is trying to capture with Ghost of Tsushima, Sekiro is taking a fantasy-based approach to its world building and combat. Alright, let's take a look at the trailer. The trailer begins with some sort of temple on fire and cuts to a multitude of carved statues strewn about a room with a man carving another. We then cut to a nameless woman who is reading a book of some kind. So far, nothing spectacular. We then move to an outdoor setting at night that looks amazing in the same ways that Ghost of Tsushima's landscapes look great. And we have two samurai dueling, with one taking the other out with a slice of his katana. Next, we see a man wake up, and we learn that it was all a dream. We then also learn what the Game Awards trailer was teasing. It was this guy's arm, which seems like some sort of prosthetic. The man doing the carving then states that it looks like death is not your fate, so the man who was killed in the dream was this man. Then we get some actual gameplay and some hints as to what that will entail. We see our main character sneaking along a wall, so stealth will play some sort of role in this game, and we also see him on the rooftops. Does this remind you of anything? To me, it reminds me of Tenchu, of course, sneaking around and using your grappling hook to sulk around on the rooftops to stay hidden. We then see our protagonist being stealthy under the floor of a building also, so they have all angles covered in this trailer. We also learn that our hero has lost his arm and that it will give way to something more. We also see our first set of true enemies here, and they are exaggerated in all the ways you would expect in a From Software game. We see a bit of sword fighting, and then, well, his arm is also a grappling hook. This is this generation's Tenchu, I'm telling you. We then get another fighting montage, and the combat is what we would expect from this studio, with it being based on parries and counterattacks, making for some tense swordplay. But weapons are not just conventional ranged weapons as well. We also have a guy with a giant metal kasa, and then a stealth kill. You remember those ridiculously over-the-top ones from Tenchu, don't you? Next, we get to see a boss who is a giant mutant of some kind. You know this is where From Software excels, and then he takes a cue from The Undertaker and last rides the main character into the ground. Next, we get to see another boss who apparently spits acid all over his sword before he fights you. I see a poison status element coming into play here. He then kills the main character, and we get a voiceover that states, "Your death will not come easily." This makes me think this game will be more forgiving than the Dark Souls series when it comes to player progression and having to play this game with an extreme level of perfection. We then see the player resurrected right where he died, and then he proceeds to show that boss who's boss. We then see a showcase of other bosses, I am sure. A centipede crawling around a corpse, and another boss who gets to ride a horse while he fights you. And he has an extendable lance. These bosses are completely ridiculous. Lastly, we get the title, and then we get attacked by a giant snake while on a rope bridge, who I'm assuming is another boss. Well, that about does it for this trailer. While we didn't find out much about the story or gameplay mechanics other than a few snippets of swordplay and a grappling hook, I am certainly intrigued by this game. I am also glad that we're getting some new entries into this time period and setting after the drought we've had recently. In my opinion, this game is also capturing some of the features that I loved about the Tenchu series and updating them for new audiences. And with From Software developing the title, you know there are going to be some intricate and amazing boss fights. Let me know what you thought about the trailer in the comments, and of course, point out anything that I might have missed. If you enjoyed this video, remember to click that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more gaming news. Until next time, guys.